Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors, for your quick briefing on what's important in the world of work. This week, we're exploring 5 major ways the newly passed Big Beautiful Bill will impact work, workplaces, and workers in the U.S., some of which may be news to you. The Workplace Minute is brought to you by our friends at WorkHuman, a technology company helping organizations build more human-centered workplaces. If you care about the future of work, make sure to subscribe and share these episodes with your colleagues. My name is Steve Boese. Today in episode 2 of our week-long series on the Big Beautiful Bill, we dive into how the law changes the taxation of overtime pay. And stick around to the end for tips on what employers need to know. Under current law, every penny earned from regular wages to overtime is fully taxable as ordinary income. Workers classified as non-exempt under the Fair Labor Standards Act, or FLSA, earn time and a half for anything over 40 hours per week, but must pay federal income tax, payroll tax, Social Security, Medicare, and often state taxes on those amounts. The bill changes is it introduces an above-the-line federal income tax deduction, which is a type of tax deduction that is subtracted before calculating your adjusted gross income on your federal tax return. Here's how the bill will work for overtime earners. Individual filers can deduct up to $12,500 of qualified overtime annually, and married filers filing jointly can deduct up to $25,000. The deduction phases out starting at about $150,000 of modified adjusted gross income, or $300,000 for joint filers, and applies only for the tax years 2025 to 2028. Qualified overtime is defined under FLSA. Payments above the regular rate for non-exempt roles and must be reported separately on W-2s. And finally, state income tax and payroll tax still apply. It's only a federal income deduction. So who's impacted by these changes? Roughly 10 million American workers earn overtime regularly, with a concentrated impact on sectors like healthcare, manufacturing, logistics, retail, and hospitality. Although precise breakdowns vary, the deduction could save an average of $600 to $1,200 per eligible worker per year, depending on their hourly rate and their filing status. Opponents argue these incentives are a direct boost for the American working class, rewarding extra hours without piling on additional taxes. By reducing the federal income tax on overtime, supporters believe it encourages productivity, helps cover costs for families working multiple jobs, and aligns with the bill's populist blue-collar worker relief messaging. And businesses in high-labor industries like logistics and healthcare have welcomed the change, claiming it eases the burden on workers who depend on overtime for income and could improve retention in some tight labor markets. Critics, however, point out the deduction favors higher earners, noting that one estimate says that 45% of these benefits will flow to those making over $300,000 annually. And others argue that because Social Security and Medicare taxes still apply, the real benefit is modest and disproportionately benefits those in better paid hourly roles. And policy analysts caution it's a temporary half measure, not a lasting reform. It doesn't address whether workers actually get paid overtime, or even if overtime pay slows or job growth suffers. So some see it as fuzzy economics packaged by attractive promises. So what should employers do? Regardless of your opinion or your assessment of what these changes really mean, employers still need to take proactive steps to adapt to the new rules. Here's what to prioritize. 1. Revamp time and payroll systems. Ensure overtime is flagged and aggregated separately. Check that your payroll software and payroll providers can make needed changes to produce accurate W-2 reporting, possibly via a new Box 12 or a Box 14 code. 2. Update withholding tables. The IRS is required to adjust withholding tables in 2026 to reflect the deduction, but for 2025, employers should communicate to staff that refunds aren't yet automatic. 3. Employee education and communication. Create clear communications explaining eligibility, especially around the income caps and expiration dates. Consider holding Q&A sessions or issuing internal guidance. 4. Be aware of state differences. Only federal income tax is affected. States may not conform, and some may have their own overtime wage rules entirely. Employers with multi-state operations must still comply locally. And 5, review your overtime policies. With marginal after-tax returns on overtime higher than before, organizations may need to rebalance their staffing, schedules, and overall labor cost models. There are always plenty of compliance and regulatory changes that employers need to manage. As always, we recommend you work with your trusted payroll providers to ensure ongoing compliance and agility to meet the next set of changes sure to emerge in the future. That's it for today's Workplace Minute. Tomorrow we will continue to explore the workplace implications of the Big Beautiful Bill by taking a look at the bill's elimination of clean energy tax credits, which could put clean energy jobs at risk and lead to layoffs in some other industries. And we'll continue to follow this and all the important topics and trends in the world of work here on the HR Happy Hour Media Network. This has been Steve Boese for the Workplace Minute, powered by H3 HR Advisors.